A little over a month ago, I received a business email that caught my attention. It was an email sent by the fashion company that employs my sister Amanda. I have not received any notification from this company for approximately 2 years. The last time we had arranged payment for the commercial use of my image. A payment that helped me buy my first car. And it was all because I had decided to help my sister and modeled a beautiful red dress that she had lovingly designed. The same company had offered me a job modeling on the runway. I still remember how impressed I was by that offer. The very idea of modeling a dress on a runway seemed surreal to me. I decided to decline, but sincerely thanked them for considering me for the job. After this last contact, I had neither received nor sent any email to the company. So it was very surprising when I was contacted again. In the meantime, I had graduated in economics and got a job in a consulting firm. I was very happy with my job, not only because of the good salary, but also because it was very nice to be able to earn a living with something related to what I had studied. I had been working there for months, and the work environment was competitive but also nice and modern. When I received the new email from Amanda's employer, my first thought was that they had made a mistake. Maybe some employee had confused our emails and had sent something to me instead of her. So when I opened it, I got one of the biggest surprises of my life. When I read the contents, it was clear that the recipient was me. In short, the email talked about a fashion show that the company was going to do in a few weeks to present a new collection. Most of the models had already been selected. Now it was time to find a male model who dared to walk the runway with a long dress on. Since I had already modeled a dress created by one of the designers of the collection, they thought I was the perfect candidate. But I had 2 days to decide for yes or no. I immediately called my sister. She told me that of course she was aware of the fashion show, but didn't know anything about me getting a job offer. "It's your decision. I would love for us to work together again," Amanda said. I was still a little shocked, but I was also very proud of my sister's progress within her company and told her so. Then we got to talking about other things and hung up. As soon as the conversation ended, I started to contemplate whether I should model or not, but I couldn't figure it out that night and went to sleep. The next day I already had the answer in mind. During a break at the office, I decided to answer the email positively. I only asked that the modeling not interfere with my regular job. I would only be available on weekends to practice on the runway. That evening I received an affirmative reply. In that email, I was asked to come to the company building on Saturday morning. I messaged my sister to tell her about this, and she congratulated me on my decision. That Saturday I arrived as early as I could. There I was greeted by my sister with a big hug. She introduced me to a young woman with short black hair. This woman was the other designer in charge of the collection. She was the one who had designed the 2 dresses that I would have to model. This designer reiterated to me in other words what I had already read in the email. The idea was to have a man on the runway to make the collection feel more inclusive. "This is the first step for us to start designing dresses especially made for men," she told me with a smile. You could see in her eyes that she was confident about the project. The models had started rehearsing the previous Thursday. There were only 2 models in the building who had not been able to attend due to illness, and so they were there with me. They already knew that a guy would be working with them and were delighted to meet me. I went to a dressing room, and there I put on the first and simpler of the 2 dresses. It was a white dress with a pattern of hearts in different shades of pink and red. It was a very pretty dress, and I could imagine someone going out dancing in it. You could tell by the size that it was a dress for a man to wear. I felt very comfortable in it from the very first moment. On the night of the fashion show, I would be made up by a professional makeup artist, but this time it was Amanda who painted my face. She put red lipstick and pink shadow to match the dress. She also helped me style a long blonde wig that I was going to wear on the night of the fashion show. I started rehearsing on the runway. The white shoes had a higher heel than I was used to, so at first it was hard to walk. But little by little, encouraged by the two designers and my new colleagues, I was able to adapt to the heels and the dimensions of the runway. I felt very feminine and with increased confidence, although I knew it would be more difficult when I stood in front of an audience that was going to be watching me. The second dress was pink and more complex. But to talk about it, let me jump straight to the night of the fashion show. A couple of weeks had passed in which I had to continue working in my office, trying to conceal my anxiety about the event, of which no one knew anything about, and of course, finally the day arrived. It was a cloudy Saturday, but no rain was forecast until the following Monday. I had met most of my colleagues the previous Saturday, when they had called all the models together. Luckily they had all liked me, or maybe it was the fact that they thought a male model in a dress was rather cute. My sister Amanda was dressed in a beautiful black dress, very elegant. The other designer was wearing a long red dress, not unlike the one I had modeled more than 2 years ago. My sister helped me change into the white dress with hearts. Then a makeup artist painted me in an incredible way, with a quality I couldn't achieve, even if I practiced for decades. The red lipstick looked great, and my face didn't look like a man's face. Once the wig was on, I joined the other models backstage waiting for my turn to walk the runway. The truth is that it turned out much better than I could have dreamed. I felt very comfortable in the white heels. All those hours of rehearsal had been worth it. On this first occasion the public knew nothing about my true identity. But that would soon change. Again, Amanda helped me put on my dress. This second pink dress was without a doubt the most wonderful I had ever tried on in my life. The fabric was of the highest quality, and the skirt part had many tiers. The whole dress was adorned with plastic flowers of different colors, mostly white, pink and red. It was like the dress of a fairy tale princess. Again I waited my turn backstage. But this time I would be the one to close the line. When I stepped out onto the runway, I carried out my instructions to perfection. I took off my blonde wig and showed my short hair. If anyone hadn't realized that I was a guy, then the presenter confirmed it by mentioning my real first name and the message that went something like this: "Our company wants everyone to be able to wear the dress of their dreams." The guests began to applaud, and, following what I had practiced in rehearsals, I curtsied as best I could. I had never felt as feminine or as beautiful as I did at that moment, and probably never will. I stepped off the runway, and then all of us models stood side by side, while the two designers in charge of the collection came out to present themselves to the audience. That's how the show ended. I can tell you it felt like a resounding success. My sister tells me that her superiors are very pleased with her work, and that of her short-haired colleague, and that a promotion and a bonus are in store for both of them. Plus, the idea of making exclusive dresses for men is closer to becoming a reality. Amanda is already preparing some designs together with her short-haired colleague. Both are really enthusiastic about that project. Most likely I will never model again because I find it too demanding a job. I prefer consulting work. But I do wish that all the men and women in the world can find the clothes they want and feel beautiful in them. The pay for my work that night was really great. My sister and I are already organizing a vacation, taking advantage of our respective paychecks. I would love nothing more than to celebrate her promotion. My sister deserves the best, and I am proud to have helped her twice in her career. The end.